My name's Edward Durza, and this is my story. I'm pretty much American. My dad's side of the family is from Haiti. My mom's American. I was born in Houston, Texas. Lived in New York for a couple of years before I moved down to Florida when I was a kid, so I consider myself a Floridian. Always involved in sports, and had a pretty good childhood from what I can remember.
My name is Yalbeth Arevalo, and I'm Brianna's mom. I met Edward at the gym, and I was attracted to him because he has a really silly, friendly personality.
I've known Edward for almost 30 years now. Met him when we lived in Fort Lauderdale. He's one of the early friends of my younger brother, Chris. And got to meet him pretty early because him and my brother have been close all their lives.
So, to me, the only obstacle was allowing myself to control the alcohol instead of the alcohol control me. Because once you start drinking at the level that I was drinking at, it becomes difficult to control yourself.
In May of 2014, we started renting in that apartment, so that was the first time that we lived together. And from May of 2014 to January of 2015, that was like a rough time for me because that's, he would be very disrespectful when drinking and aggressive when drinking, and I wasn't used to that. And to me, that was like, I would categorize it as domestic violence at some level, just because I've never been through it.
Yeah, I was very vulgar, verbally abusive, angry, reckless, careless, and just doing whatever I wanted to without the thought of thinking if it affected others or, just didn't care.
While we lived together, there were some dark days, where he drank excessively. We confronted each other, almost like about to fight.
I personally think that one of the reasons, if not the main reason that he drinks, is that he has this desire, this passion.
Growing up, I always knew or had in my head that I was gonna be a professional athlete.
And he didn't accomplish it, so I feel that drives him. That frustration. Oh, I didn't get to where I wanted to get. I didn't become who I wanted to become professionally. Drives him to drinking.
I've been going to biblical studying with my baby moms, and she thinks that's the reason why I drink. I had insomnia, so I couldn't sleep. And then when I did manage to fall asleep, it was as if I was in the sauna. I had the sweats from head to toe.
So when Brianna was born, things got even worse because, we weren't prepared. It wasn't like we were dating for years and we planned to have, so we weren't really prepared for the big responsibility that it's to have a child. And I feel that living with him, I can see him being stressed out because as a man, you have to be the provider, the protector in a family. And it's like, and he's even shared it with me that he felt overwhelmed, like a woman, a baby, like a house, all this to care for.
So I have had a couple of wake-up call moments, but a year ago was the main wake-up call moment. I was drinking, and I decided I was hungry. So I got in my vehicle with about half a cup of rum, and I was going to Taco Bell. All I remember is that I guess I missed the exit, and I blacked out. I woke up to try to stop my car from hitting another car, and it was a fail. I ended up hitting the car. Right then and there, I tried to reverse and leave the scene, which goes to show you what alcohol does. It makes you careless. And obviously my car was totaled, so I couldn't leave the scene. That's when the police came and they interviewed the kids, because it was about 4 kids that I hit. And one of the girls was a little injured, but the rest were fine. And then they came to interview me. I just sat there and realized, you know what, I'm probably gonna be going to jail tonight. And they kept on going back and forth. And that night, through the grace of God, I was able to walk home with just a ticket. Mind you, the cop told me, you know, I can tell you're intoxicated, here's your ticket, go home.
I wouldn't see any red flags at the beginning, but then when I was pregnant, it's when I saw the first red flag. It was a silly argument about T.I. He asked me who T.I. is, and because I didn't know who T.I. was, he got really defensive and he started saying that I was racist. But the fact that he got a little bit defensive and a little bit like upset, he threw food and everything, that was the first red flag.
At the time, I was kind of in denial, but my excuse was that she did something that aggravated me, when in essence, there should be no excuse for that type of a behavior, whether you're under the influence or not under the influence.
I really felt like I was stuck. I feel that as a woman, you have to make the decision to whether stay in that relationship for the kid or just continue your own way and be a single mom and just you alone. I felt like I was alone, I was scared, I didn't know what to do.
Actually felt like I needed medical help, and I checked myself into rehab.
Character has been a big conversational piece, I would say, between us. Because I always am questioning the character, you know, of his choices. Like, why did you do that? Why did you do this? Or why did you drink last night? How are you feeling? Always really trying to assess, you know, like, so he can learn himself. Because I think at the end of the day, one of the key things that helps people overcome addiction is knowing themselves.
I realized my passion in life is to become certified as a personal trainer and pass the NASM exam.
So I try to make decisions for myself, today that are based on what I want in the future. And so I helped build that foundation for him, I guess, by simply saying, what do you want out of life?
In the next 5 years, I want to have my own gym and have a couple of classes that people can attend a week, on a weekly basis, 3 to 4 classes a week, such as boot camps and classes of like CrossFit training, HIIT training, things of that nature.
Being that big brother mentor per se, I guess for him, I'd say at the end of the day, he's been a good friend, been a good brother overall. So it's not really like a challenge being a big bro for him.
And then once I pass this exam, I'm working with my consultant who's like helping me market and put me in a position to be successful. It wasn't getting better. And if I continue down this path, I wouldn't be a good role model for my daughter. I wouldn't be the best version of myself, because I want to be healthy to watch her walk the stage when she's married. I want to be there to give her the advice that she needs to prepare her for this world, this crazy world we live in. And I don't want her to see her father as like a burden that was controlled because of a substance. I want to be a better role model than that.
I love the like the fact that he spends time with her and like gets to her level and plays with her. I love that, and I can see Brianna enjoys that too. There's like that little hope there, you know, that I gotta try my best. Maybe I don't have the desire right now to like be in the relationship, but I'm still there. Like we get along, we co-parent, like we talk, we have a great communication. It's just when it comes to making that decision, I'm at the point where that's not up to me, that's up to God.
My best friend Chris is keeping me accountable, but he lives all the way in California. His brother Rod, who's a major factor in helping me launch this business. My daughter, just for being my daughter, because I want to be successful for her benefit, and I want her to see her dad being happy in what he does. Y'all bet, to make things work out and eventually be a family. Because all these years, it's been me that's been keeping us away and distant.
I think he's learned how to pick himself up, but there was a time where he needed us, and we were fortunate to be there and are grateful to be there. Now, hopefully he can continue to do the work.
Thank you. Considering that we're in a pandemic, do you find that it's hard to stay sober?
I don't, because now that we're in this pandemic, I have my daughter a lot more because she's in school here. What is it? Online. She's taking online classes. So it gives me more of a reason to be sober, to attend to her and help her with her studies. And then after that, she usually has gymnastics. And I have a couple of clients that I work out now. So that's another thing that's keeping me occupied.
The advice that I would give women going through a relationship with an abusive, that's really a tough one, because sometimes people are in love and love makes you blind, and sometimes they think that loving that person means doing whatever that person says, and then that's where they're involved in like that aggression. But even though what I went through with Ed due to the alcohol was a low or mild domestic violence or abuse, it was getting me out of my sanity. I started becoming aggressive too, and that's not me. So my first advice would be like, get out. Because if someone's abusing you, that person doesn't love you, right? My second advice would be to seek biblical help, like biblical counseling. And I'm specifically saying biblical because I've been through a lot of regular secular counselings, and it's not the same. It's not the same. Now I'm going actually with Ed through biblical counseling. And I truly believe that we are designed, like we were created by God and for God. So the only one that knows truly how we work, it's Him. So why would we go to the world when we have Him? So my advice to anybody, it doesn't matter if you're in an abusive relationship or whatever struggle, my answer is always the Bible. In the Bible, there's all the answers to any relationship, any situation in life. And I'm very, very blessed and grateful to know this.
you.